Welcome to the new IT. Here we are in the new IT studios. Yeah, I just made that up. That's right.
Absolutely.
New IT studios. What are we talking about today, Brad? What's going on in the new IT?
Today's actually a very, very fun topic.
We're going to get a little sassy today.
Exactly. We're talking Sassy SaaS. What is software, where it's going, why focus on it?
Why is it here? Where? Yeah, absolutely. All of that stuff. Well, I think the only way to start the show is to for one, define it. I think talking about SaaS, software as a service, you will get a lot of different answers. Don't you think?
I think so.
It is just this one thing, but it seems like everybody has their own vision. It's kind of like the cloud.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that think that's a magical thing, and most of us understand that, hey, there's hardware out there running this stuff
Still
somewhere.
doing it.
So what is SaaS? Let's talk about that for a second. What do you think?
I mean, the acronym is software as a service. So to me, software as a service is basically software that companies provide to be able to do certain tasks or certain things.
Yeah.
Take, for instance, like Adobe Experience Manager. That product is a SaaS, but it's also a content management system. So you're paying for the service of the software, but you need to understand how to be able to utilize that software.
So I think that's pretty cut and dry. But let's go back then. So what was it? Where was its origins? What was it before all this SaaS came out? And I know we both have big thoughts around that. We both have opinions about what that means. I'm asking you, Ryan, what was it before?
I think it was just, software has always been there. It's never not been there. But I think what has happened is our culture has shifted to be more focused on cloud technologies and other technology, to where we have the internet access all over the place, that we now can have software as not only a service, but just more, instead of keeping it on your hard drive or your database, you can now keep that more in the cloud, so to speak.
Yeah, I think in the 1970s, the 1980s, the 1990s, it was still wild west technology.
Yep,
you know what I mean? It was all over the place, and companies had to just figure out how to use stuff to be a little more aggressive than the next company.
Absolutely.
Right? And only the really big companies could build software, could do things that could give them that edge. And there was this very strong, there was a very big gap difference between these big companies and small companies. Small companies still able to grow, but technology-wise, when you say it was the folks that could spend a lot of money to build their own systems, to build things themselves, and be able to do it. And it was always in-house. It was always expensive. SaaS kind of opened up a whole different world.
Oh, absolutely. Well, and I could be going off on a different tangent here, but
oh, that's great. Let's go a couple directions.
I really think that SaaS was really, I think a big reason why it became so big is because it was a reoccurring revenue stream for companies that they never had before. They can now charge a monthly subscription or a monthly fee, whereas before companies would just pay.
They'd sell their product, and you would go install it and use it on your Steam. Then they'd get support. Maybe
exactly.
They'd have on the other side too, though, for the companies that buy SaaS or use SaaS, there's no surprises there. There's no big chunk of money down. We can complain that some things are expensive monthly fees, but from a company standpoint, I got a budget. I know what we're going to spend here. No surprises.
Well, not only no surprises, but you get more that dedicated support too. You have that it's going to work for what you're paying.
Not only that, you don't have to have an internal staff to take care of it.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times you had backups, and if backups were messed up, you lost everything. Everything was on this certain database that was connected to this, that was connected to that. All of that is gone.
Okay. Nice.
When you're using SaaS, right?
As far as I know, yes.
And somebody else is now taking care of all that.
Yeah. And
for
that
the company,
their headache.
Yes. And for the company, how beautiful is that? Which was a game changer. Now, the little guy can have just as cool, just as much stuff as the giant corporations.
Absolutely.
It's a game changer.
Absolutely.
So how was it? Well, we were going to ask the question, how was it created? And I kind of think
Well,
we
I think
went
we
there
kind
a
of
little.
answered that.
Yeah, we kind of went there already. Went down that road. The big thing was, and I talked about this before. I think the really, I believe the biggest portion that caused the giant SaaS revolution. Yeah, that's the right word.
Yeah,
Sure, why not? Was broadband internet.
Absolutely. I 100%
Once
agree.
everybody had broadband, again, a new game changer, because it wasn't the giant companies that could buy their several T1s that could get enough, bandwidth to go click and do something. You couldn't run stuff like you can now.
That's
And
true.
that broadband changed everything. Once everybody was getting, over 10 meg speed, the world was open.
Changed.
I remember when I first tried to stream video and stuff, and it would glitch and it would jerk, and there were all these little companies coming out with video and streaming video, and it was junk. And then Netflix from somewhere out of the blue, and they didn't do streaming; they just did those DVDs. It was pure genius.
Absolutely.
But I really believe that broadband is what brought so much of what we now know of technology and why the internet is so strong and powerful.
Yeah.
If we were still 56 baud on the modems, it would be
It'd be ridiculous.
it would not be the same.
No. Well, and maybe I'm going off on another different tangent, but maybe this is another show episode. But where do you think we would be without broadband? I mean, do you think we would be kind of still in that Stone Age?
I don't think it was inevitable. I don't think the way technology was going with networking and intra networks and how we were able to build them, it was inevitable that we were going to have faster and faster. Just like that would be like saying, what if we were still using 486 processors?
Yeah.
What if we couldn't make processors any bigger? That would be a whole different world.
Oh, absolutely.
Right, but it's not the way it is because of what is it? What's the technology?
Evolution?
Yeah, the not McAfee's law.
Yeah, you lost me on this
Oh
one.
my gosh, guys, I'm sorry because my brain is just everybody listening is going, oh my hell, it's not Murphy's law. Geez, that's a different. Anyway, everybody knows the technology doubles every time. Everybody knows what I'm talking about, and for some reason I can't remember the person's name. We'll get all these people coming, hey, it's blah, 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 you idiot. Anyway, yeah, I'm a professional, people. Don't try this stuff at home.
When you need it, it fails you.
Yeah, when you need it, it fails you. We do have internet right here, but I'm not going to waste my time. Anyway, so what's the future? What do you think? This is the new IT. SaaS and Sassy. SaaS is Sassy. What's going on?
I mean, I still think that SaaS is going to be around. From my background, I know more digital marketing technology like Salesforce, like Magento, Adobe Experience Manager, Sitecore. They're not going anywhere. They're big players in the industry. But what they are starting to do, and in order to help speed up, they're doing what they call like SPAs or single page applications. So they're being able to launch pages quicker without uploading everything from the server, so that way you're speeding things up from that standpoint.
Even faster.
Yeah,
So
that's
it's
where I
all
think
about
going.
speed. It's
Exactly.
all about the quicker you can get the data, the more we move forward. And broadband's getting more and more. I mean, we're getting data is getting smaller and bigger at the same time.
Exactly.
It's not I mean, obviously, it's not going anywhere.
Well, and in my opinion, I mean, it's all about keeping the focus of the person who you're trying to put your information in front of. So it's only a matter of time before we speed it up to where it's lightning fast. Like we're pretty close now, but you can pretty much pull up a website anywhere and it just quickly loads. You don't have no waiting times.
And you said the big dogs. You said all the big SaaS out there, and there's a lot of them. Is there a space for the little guy, or is it back like when Rockefeller and Carnegie and all those guys kind of they were the big dogs and they were the only players in town, and if you tried to, they would smush you like a pimple.
No, I mean it's quite the opposite. I mean,
really?
that's the joy of like software as a service.
Yeah.
Like anybody can create a software for anything.
Anybody can play this game.
Anybody, and that's the joy of it. I mean, in Utah alone, I mean, we're seeing SaaS created daily, and we're seeing large organizations get funded for it.
Created overnight.
Yeah, I mean,
It's amazing. if you've got an amazing idea that companies can use to become just a little bit better, just to have a little bit more of an edge, you have a niche there.
Yeah.
And you have the ability to do it.
I mean, right off the top of my head, I'm thinking Divi. Divi is a large company, but they were acquired. I mean, even
Domo here in Utah.
Domo. I mean, you've got Domo.
Giant.
You've got let's see, you've got TaxBit, who was acquired, and these are large organizations that are all SaaS systems, but they provide value and they provide.
And they came from nowhere and just blew up.
Exactly.
This is an interesting time we're living in. The future is so crazy because anything can happen.
Yeah,
is
absolutely.
the coolest part about right now. That where we're at, anybody, anyway, with a freaking idea and a couple dollars in their pocket, maybe more than a couple dollars, but at least a good talk that they can get people to give them money, can create some cool stuff.
Well, I don't even think it needs that. I mean, as long as you have the understanding of how to build what your idea is, that's a start.
Bootstrap.
And then once you get there, it's one, it's bootstrap. Two, it's okay, refine your pitch, understand what your software does and how you want it to be interacting, and then you can start to go out and pitch it even more. Yeah,
people ask me all the time, well, how do I get money for my idea? I got this it's $1 million idea. Oh my hell, everybody has $1 million idea.
Exactly.
You know what that $1 million idea is worth? $0 until you do something.
Exactly.
Now, when you go to an investor and you go, well, we have 100,000 people that are interested in doing this, but we don't have the internal systems to be able to support that. Oh my gosh, I will give you whatever you want. If you have the people and you just haven't been able to grow because you don't have the money, they will throw it at you.
Absolutely.
They will throw it at you.
Well, and like I said, I mean, you obviously have your history behind you. So, I mean, you have to have good users. You have to have, obviously, an increase in users and more subscriptions and things of that. But yeah, I mean, you can definitely do it.
I think it's interesting. There's a book. I'm going to go entrepreneur here for just a second. There's a book I just read a little bit ago that just came out. It's called Super Founder.
Oh, yeah. I remember you telling me about that.
Yeah, it's interesting. The biggest, it kind of throws away all the thoughts that everybody thinks this is why people have become billionaire companies. But the biggest common denominator for companies that are founders that have created billion-dollar companies is it's not their first rodeo.
That's the biggest. 100% sense.
It does. You hear it all the time. People don't become successful on their first gig.
No.
They just not usually.
No,
Very seldom
happen.
do you win the lottery when you buy one lottery ticket.
Right.
It just that's not how it works. So
anyway, don't get me wrong. It can happen, but the chances are unlikely. But this might be another tangent, but I believe that we don't encourage failure enough, and that's where software comes from. So I'm a big component of the book Failing Forward by John C. Maxwell, and he talks about failing is actually a good thing. We actually teach in school that failure is bad, and that's creating this cross culture of saying like, no.
So I won't take the chance.
Exactly.
Guess what? You don't learn if you don't take the chance. If you don't fail, you don't learn.
Agreed. 100% agree.
Yeah. Well, so I want to talk about turning the corner or changing things up. So is there a career path for SaaS? Is there a place for people? Is jobs out there? What do you think, SaaS wise?
SaaS wise, absolutely. I mean, like we just talked about. I mean, there are lots of companies that are creating SaaS, even in our own backyard. I mean, we're dubbed Silicon Slopes for a reason. Technology is here and it's only growing. So if you're passionate about something and you have that idea, one, you can create your own, or two, you can join a company as a startup or
so you do believe that there is a viable piece there to, man, if you're smart enough, go do your own thing.
Absolutely.
Create it yourself.
Yeah. I mean, in Utah alone, I mean, we have the most per capita entrepreneurs than anywhere else. And there's a reason for that.
Yeah. So what about just jobs? Let's say I am, I'm a worker bee. Mm-hmm. I don't have visions of grandeur. I don't need to, change the world. I just want to do my deal and get it. Is there a place for that person still?
Absolutely. I 100% agree with that. I mean, companies are always looking, no matter whether or not it's your idea or not, companies are always looking for talent. we're in a market right now where there's less than like a 1% rate on unemployment in terms of tech for the jobs for software engineers. So it's only growing and it's only increasing. And the more technology that we get, or the more opportunities that you have, it's only growing, and it's going to continue to grow.
Yeah. So, who benefits from it? Who do you think benefits from when we talk about SaaS? Is it the company? Is it the SaaS company itself? I mean, I guess everybody would have to benefit, but what's the maybe just the big benefit?
Yeah, I mean,
your thoughts, Brad.
You took my answer. I mean, honestly, like, everybody benefits. I mean, the company benefits because they're getting users. Whoever's using it is benefiting because they now can use the software to make their process even more streamlined and make things easier.
And if they're a smaller company, can even look bigger,
exactly.
do things bigger like the big dogs.
Absolutely.
It just surprises me so much in this day and age how there almost isn't a deviation between how you can look and be between $1 billion company and $1 million company. I mean, you can both look pretty close to the same and use almost the same technologies.
Yeah, I mean, there's a company that I know that they have a CRM system, and it's very, very similar to between like the capabilities. It's very similar to like your HubSpots, like any other standard CRM, but they've built it all themselves because they knew that was something that they needed for them. So yeah, I mean, it's out there, and as long as you can create that need or that demand, anybody can kind of create it.
So I'm gonna. This question might be redundant, but I think I want to go here and talk about it for a minute. So is it too late to the party?
Not at all.
It's not too late to the party.
Not at all. I mean, I think
you sure not everything that could be created is not already out there?
I'm sure there's something that somebody hasn't thought of yet that we're gonna go, why didn't I think of that in like 5 years?
Yeah, I was always. The internet was a giant disruptor.
Yeah,
and we haven't had as big of a disruptor since the internet. But I do believe kind of cryptocurrency is kind of stepping on being able to be a disruptor like the internet. The verdict's not out yet, of course.
Of course.
But I think in the future, I mean, and I know I just took us a super quick turn. I almost look at crypto as a SaaS almost. Because
I mean, it is. Well,
I mean, it
kind of
is.
It is
this funky way. But I do believe we're going to see more and more disruption that way, blockchain, all that stuff. None of that's going away. No. Of course, that's the future. And I kind of believe it fits in this Sassy SaaS.
No, it really does. and I mean, even one step further, I mean, I think it's part of the whole thing. Like, SaaS in itself is a disruptor. I mean, it's a game changer because if you're working on something and let's say, I don't know, let's just take something generic. Let's say you're in like Microsoft Excel or Google Sheets and you're hoping it could do something or cross over into some other threshold, and you have this idea, you can go out and create that, and if you see the demand for it, well, then there you go. I mean, that could be the next $1 billion thing. Who knows?
It really is exciting right now.
I
hope people understand that if you get away from the end of the worlders, that there's a lot of cool stuff coming around the bend if we as a human race aren't stupid enough to mess it up.
Right. No, I agree. And I mean, to that point, I mean, like, I see lots of people, at least from a local perspective, people here are taking that chance, and they still have their full-time jobs, but if they have this passion or if they see where they can create a niche, they're off doing it on their own on off hours, making sure that they're developing this and seeing where it goes. That's the exciting time for me, is because seeing what else is out there, that's really where it's going to be the eye-opening idea.
And there's going to be lots of opportunity for
100%.
Everybody to do stuff, have jobs,
yeah,
create cool stuff. It's exciting, guys. It's exciting. The world of SaaS is exciting. The world of IT and technology, all of that. The reason we talk about the new IT, or at least why I'm here, I don't know why you're here, Brad, but
I don't know.
Why I'm here is, I didn't want to talk for you. I apologize. Right. Is that it's exciting.
No, it is.
And it is changing. I mean, technology, it is cool to have seen the 80s and the 90s and the 2000s and the 2000 teens. You know, it's been cool to ride in all that, and I can just see it getting cooler.
Yeah, I mean, quite honestly, I mean, we're both old enough that we can see that and experience it. So for us, I think it's even more special for us because we do have that background. We do have that history. I'm not a tech person in that regard, but I understand where it's coming from and where it's going, and that's the exciting thing for me is just understanding that and knowing that it's only getting better and better and better.
Yeah, I've been in the tech space since the 90s.
Yeah.
And it's I would not want to go back.
No, not
because I mean, not that it wasn't cool. It was really cool. It was awesome. But my hell, just being able to yell in Google where to drive me, I still think how I don't know how to live it. I don't know how to do that. Or just asking Google a question or Alexa or whoever. It's just like, it is so cool. Yeah. It is so cool right now. Anyway, we've been on some crazy tangents. You got any last words about SaaS, Brad? I've been hogging the mic, but what do you think?
Honestly, like if you have a passion for SaaS, or if you have a drive to understand that you can better a product or make something better, go out and at least discover if it's worth investing in or your time to be able to create something.
My entrepreneurness just dabbles in that right now. When you say that, you don't have to create something gigantic. This is where an idea, you can sell an idea, but you don't try and sell an idea to investors. You try and sell an idea to people that could use it.
100% agree.
If you had an idea and you went to a bunch of different companies and said, hey, if I create this, would you be interested in it? And if all of the companies go, man, we would love that. Yes, we would love to have that. You're on to something.
Yeah. And
that's how you create something. You don't have to have money to do that. You don't even have to have a team. And if you think, oh, well, that company will steal my idea. Dude, they're working in their business. They're not in business to go steal some SaaS product that they can create. So that's small-minded to think that way. Anyway, gosh, I'm on my entrepreneur soapbox, dude.
That does remind me of one more thing, though. Be careful of what you create, and especially if you're doing it on the side. If you work for a company, be careful because they may have rights to that.
To own it.
Yes.
Thanks for saying that, because that is a big deal. And it's not that hard to find. I've known guys that have asked their managers and went up the ladder and said, hey, I have this idea. I want to do it. I just want to make sure it's not a conflict or that you don't have a problem with me creating it, and make sure that they don't have any ownership.
Well, and not only that, make sure you're not doing it on their time.
Yeah.
Because if you do, then you can run into that situation to where they're saying, nope, this is ours.
Yeah. So, this has been good stuff. Wow, I think we got jazzed about this.
I think we did. It's been a great episode.
Yeah, this has been really, really good. Folks out there, SaaS not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere. It's the future. It is here to stay. And the cool thing is, who knows what's coming around the bend. All right, we will see you next time for the new IT.